Mike Johnston, Councillor Bob Cartwright at the back there, and Nikki and Amy are the officers here, dealing with you all. Mike behind me, which will be going around when we have Q&As. Now, Carl Nicholson, there, not yet. He's going to be one leading on this, and Jason's there from Big Yellow. Lemon? I knew it was yellow. Thanks. So, once we're joined by Carl, then we'll sort of kick off. But Jason, in the meanwhile, can you hear us?
I can indeed.
Good. Would you like to start then, giving us a bit of an update on the Big Lemon at the moment, and your services?
Yeah, so X10 seems to be growing from strength to strength. Really good numbers over December and January and February, which was really good to see. I think the free travel which North Somerset provided on the X10 in December went down really well and saw some great numbers, and we appear to have kept a few of those potentially new customers with the service as we've gone through the first half of this year.
Good. And your buses? You've got good stock of buses at the moment? Good service provision?
We've got a good stock of buses. Doesn't appear to be any issues at the moment that I've been made aware of, so and we're fully staffed as well. So
right, I'll get that mic going. Oh, Carl's in person. Right, fine. In that case, we might have to get another microphone for him, unless we share it.
The extension to Yatton Station is going.
Yes, Jason, Ray is asking about the extension to Yatton Station. You're getting reasonably good patronage or very good patronage on that?
We're quite happy with the numbers from Yatton so far. It's been really encouraging and it's been very well supported. We obviously worked closely with North Somerset and GWR to get that link into the station. Nick at GWR has been very helpful with providing information to passengers, etc. So yeah, the link there has gone really well.
Excellent to hear. And with the A2 service starting, that will have a direct link with Nailsea and Backwell Station. Probably not much in terms of competition with you, but it's a possibility, I suppose.
It's a possibility, and it gives people more options.
Of course it does, yes, indeed. Right. In person, we have Carl Nicholson.
Sorry,
Bus officer. Yes, you can introduce yourself. Everyone knows you. We were expecting Carl to be online, so this is a bonus. Now, before you start, what time would you like to be getting away?
Sadly, I have to be away very swiftly today at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock?
I can maybe just squeeze another 5 minutes, but I do need to get home for family matters. So.
And how would you like to run this? Would you like your slide deck with Q&As at the end, or would you like people to ask questions during the actual presentation?
I would prefer to rattle through the slides and take questions, if that's okay. It gives more time generally for questions if I do that.
Right.
Can I ask a question? Is that microphone switched on?
It is. Sorry, I need to speak closer to the mic to make sure I do that.
In due course, we're planning to upgrade all these in this hall.
Sorry, I always forget I have softly spoken. Right, okay, so we have the, I have the briefing deck I gave to councils about a week ago on the service changes. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
This mic's very direct, I think. So I'm just going to go through these slides, give you an idea of what's going across the region. We do touch on all the services just for information, so I may skip a few if there's no interest. So next slide, please. Next slide. So next slide, sorry, I just need to, I think you've got the wrong slide deck. This is the wrong slide deck, sorry. I don't know how this has happened. Yeah, sorry, take that one down, that's the wrong slide deck.
This is the full call, isn't it?
I'm going to talk for a minute and come back to the slides. So I will put the correct slides up in a moment. I might not be able to use that.
Oh, okay. Or you could email them across to me, Carl. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
I'm really sorry. Do you want to just give a quick update for Big Lem at the moment, please, while I just sort this slight technical problem out?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so was there any more questions about the X10 at all from anybody?
Yes, love it.
Thank you. I have a friend who recently had a major stroke and was in Southmead Hospital, and his wife was visiting him every day on the X10. She seemed to find it very convenient, actually, because she was staying at the hospital for quite a period of time. This is obviously not a particularly frequent bus, but she did find the service very useful. Can I ask where, I had a reason to be in Southmead last week myself,
Sure.
and A&E is like miles away from the main section. Can I ask where the X10 actually stops within Southmead?
Yeah, so we stop in Southmead on the main bus terminus, which is where all of the buses terminate or start their journeys at Southmead. So that's outside of the main entrance.
So that's outside the Brunel building, is it?
Just a mundane question. I've tried to download your timetable several times. Is there an easy way to download your timetable?
Yeah, you should be able to download it straight from our website, sir. So if somebody can take an address and pass an address on, I'll happily get one posted out to you.
Anyone else? Looks like you're being let off the hook. How are you doing, Carl?
That's always good. And just to say that we have had, having worked with North Somerset Council, we have got an extension as the operator on this service until the next timetable change in August.
Yeah, that's good news, yes.
And there are no changes to the timetable. We wanted to, for this timetable change, we wanted to give the service a period of time to settle down and see how things go.
Just as an aside, when you terminate the service coming back, the last one, that presumably runs as far as Sheepway. Is that
Yeah.
your last official stop?
It is, yes.
Although,
Sheepway Station Road.
although your driver is taking the vehicle back up to Parsons Street, presumably, could that be added into the service as a provision for Winstoke Road and Bedminster?
That's something we can look at with North Somerset going forward.
Just seems a waste driving an empty bus up there.
Yeah, no, it's a point taken. I'll make a note and we'll liaise with North Somerset.
Okay, thank you.
Mike, you talking about the last one from this end or the one, or the last one from...
Yeah, the one that returns from Yatham
Oh, I
and terminates
Right,
Sheepway.
right.
Any further questions, anyone?
Yeah,
You have a question?
yeah.
For Big Lemon?
No, not for the big lemon.
Oh, well, we're coming to the other slide deck very shortly.
There's two presentations. Yeah, genius, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Listen up, audience. Tracy is going to be giving you a couple of brief notices.
Well, we've got kind of five.
Introduce
So,
yourself.
I'm Tracy. I actually work for Voluntary Action North Somerset, and I've been doing your Portishead Community Conversations. We've got one coming up soon on Thursday, the 12th of March, actually talking about Portishead Railway, and it will be taking place at 10:30 until 12 at Portishead Youth and Community Centre. And also on my rounds, I've just noticed that there's also going to be another meeting, I think on the 26th of March at Somerset Hall, which the railway people are going to be sort of setting up as well. Also, I'm doing a beat surgery for people over 65 in, again, Portishead Youth and Community Centre on the 11th of March from 1 until 2, so you can kind of meet some of your police officers or your PCSOs, and again, that's for people over 65. Thank you. Oh, and we've got awarded newsletters as well that we're giving out to people that are over 65.
Many thanks.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Apologies, people. There was unfortunately 2 PowerPoints named exactly the same thing, and I've sent the wrong version, which is the one without pictures and diagrams, so it's pretty cool. Whilst that's being loaded up, I'll just again give you a quick update on real-time information. So, as you're probably all aware, the real-time information that you see at the roadside isn't always that accurate. So we've got a cunning plan to try a new method of predictions, which we're going to quietly launch over the next few weeks. We're not actually going to tell you now. We're just going to launch it and see if it is actually better. But it basically will use technology in the brand new ticket machines on the buses to actually provide the predictions directly to the information screens. So rather than the information coming from the bus ticket machine into a super quote computer to give a prediction, the actual ticket machines will generate it instead. And it's been proven to be significantly more reliable, and we're using a newer version of this software again. So we're quietly going to trial this, and I'm going to seek feedback from the community if it works. But hopefully that's some good news that actually the predictions will be more reliable. The other good news is that the same predictions from the ticket machines will power the First Bus app predictions as well. So for once you'll actually have the same predictions on an app as the bus times. So I can tell you that before we get even into the new slides. So
it's not because it's sent. Is it sent? I wonder whether it's bitten on the top of it. Are you on the road? Yeah.
Oh, that's directly in.
Were there any questions from those online? Take that as a no.
So embarrassing. I just have to talk through the changes.
Do you want to
I can try it. Oh, it has gone now.
Oh, it has gone now.
Yeah. Sorry about this.
Yes, Nikki is reminding me to mention to you about the wellbeing event down at the Somerset Hall on Saturday, which is run by Portishead Lions. And there'll be lots of stands and stalls, including one from us, where you'll be able to also come along and grill us as councillors about anything. And we do have a monthly drop-in session, which happens next on the Saturday the 11th. Of April, sorry. Oh yeah, we've got 2. Yes, we're not quite there, are we? Saturday the 7th of March, which is in Somerset Hall. That's the one I've just mentioned. And then Saturday the 11th of April, which is at Waitrose in the Piazza at the Farmers Market in the morning from 9 till 12:30. Normally we are meeting on Friday, the end of the month, but these are obviously not quite on that timetable. I don't know what happens after April, but we'll go throughout the whole year.
we will tell all the emails.
Yes, you'll get to hear. Are we there?
Anyone got any general questions while I wait for the slides?
Oh, that's opening a
Go
can
on.
of worms.
Sorry, I still don't know who you are.
Apologies. Carl Nicholson, North Somerset Council, and the Passenger Transport Service Manager, so bus services come under my jurisdiction.
Thank you.
Did you want to ask a question?
So I've been tasked with asking about bus passes.
Yeah.
All right. So disabled older people were able to get a free transport on a bus before 9 and sort of after 4.
It's 24/7 now at the
Yeah,
moment,
which
yes.
was funded by the Bus Service Improvement sort of fund. And what I wanted to know was whether that was being extended after March.
It is, yes.
And so how are you publicising that?
Good question. Sorry, this mic's very... there we go. Yes, we are going to carry on. It's actually quite a small amount of funding required for that, so it's really good value. And actually I noticed Andy Burnham's getting rid of it at the time limit altogether in Manchester. So maybe it's going to set a national trend. The website advice will stay the same. The scheme continues. We need to update it to say it's been renewed. Any more questions?
I think we're up there now.
Or we can crack on with the slides. I'll save you for later.
It was an easy question.
Go on then.
Obviously, with the war in the Middle East at the moment,
Yeah.
Sama states today that it's probably going to be quite a while now. Obviously, with the price of fuel
Yeah.
exceeding, obviously, all our thoughts on it.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, obviously, if you're perceiving that obviously the price of a bus ticket may likely go up.
I can't guarantee you anything. What I know in the relatively short term, I've had this discussion only an hour ago with First Bus, which is part of the reason I was a few minutes late, so I'm really sorry. I was not just late for the sake of it. The general feeling is they're not immune to all price rises, obviously. It's a sub 10% of their overall cost of vehicles. But there is a chance tickets may have to go up if this carries on and if it doesn't stabilise.
I think the public are quite understanding over that.
But there shouldn't be any immediate impact, and they're hoping there isn't any impact. It's just they can't guarantee that. Who knows? I mean, this is unprecedented what is going on in the world at the moment. But prices have just gone up because prices went up significantly last year for driver pay, and that is more than half the cost of running a bus. So obviously that's why they went up more recently. But when you look at the cost of running a vehicle, taxis, everything else, they remain really good value. I would argue. The cost of concessionary passes to the council's gone up in the background. So we were paying £1.36 for every old age pensioners pass travel per trip. It's now up to £1.50. Whilst it's not great news, that's more pressure on council's finances because it is a direct impact on the council's finances.
Yeah.
It is better in terms of the buses are being funded more, so they make them more stable. So it's sort of yin and yang, but yes, prices have gone up on everything.
Okay.
I can do the slides, I'll take a few more questions. Slides?
On that note, is the £3 fare cap continuing through to when?
The national £3 fare, the national fare cap carries on for the duration of Parliament, we're told. They haven't told us if it stays at £3. But, so I would imagine it'll be reviewed in the autumn budget. It's getting to the point where commercial fares are in line with it anyway, so I can't see there being much movement on the £3 fare cap though, to be honest. And today we have agreed to extend the £1 child fare cap for the next 12 months. It didn't look like we could afford it, but we have come to an agreement to carry that on for 12 months, so children's fares will stay at £1. And the Kids Go Free initiative will be carrying on, which publicity will be released about in due course, and that's for children's free travel in the school holidays. And that has proven to give more confidence to young people to use buses, and that's then spilled over into children using buses to go to school, see friends, etc. So it has had benefit. It's been proven benefit. The birthday bus campaign has ended, just in case there's any ambiguity about that.
Child fares terminate at the age of 16,
Correct, yes.
and there's £1 for any distance.
It's £1, yeah, £1 per trip.
Any distance.
Yeah. However, we can't cap fares for children on DRT. And DRT is different because it's a bookable amenity service. While it is a bus service, there is a technical difference. We cannot sustain £1 child fares on DRT. It's just can't do it. Demand responsive transport, Westlink.
Right.
So there will be a difference on that, though we will let them travel for free during the free travel periods, just to be clear on that. Okay, slides, next one please. And the next one please. So the Bus Service Improvement Plan funding, BSIP funding, we've had for 3 years, which was nearly £60 million in revenue funding that's been in existence since sort of COVID recovery times, ends in a few weeks' time. So that package of funding is being wound up, drawn down, and it ends. We're moving to a new bus services fund regime. That's what the government are calling it going forward, bus services fund. And the amount we receive in bus services fund is significantly lower than £40 million across 3 years. It's now £3 million per annum. But we also have to respect the fact that the bus network has recovered really quite well in this area. There's still gaps in it, we know, but actually patronage is pretty close to what it was pre-pandemic. So you would argue actually public subsidy requirements are less, so we are getting less. £3 million is a lot of money, no matter how you look at it. That does go a reasonable amount of way to do things with bus services. And the money is generally to be invested in keeping socially necessary services or introducing them and making sure bus services that are commercial are still useful when they're periods of the day when they're not commercial. Because they're obviously not commercial all the time. Sometimes we might need extra evening services. So just to be clear, we are moving to a new funding regime, and that is a fairly significant drop in funding, but we are actually able to sustain most of the network going forward. So in line with that funding ending, of course, our bus contracts are due to expire. The big problem we had is that the government announced the 3-year package of funding very, very late, the 23rd of December around 5 o'clock. I think someone literally hit send as they went off to the Christmas party. So the whole country of people like me involved with buses were literally yelling at the DFT saying, for the love of please give us this funding announcement so we can sort contracts out. Because contracts take quite a long time to procure and to work out and to find the solution. So we got the funding way too late to make any meaningful decisions for March. Because it's less, we have had to make some decisions about what we do and don't fund. And we've had to take an approach to extend contracts till September to enable us to actually plan properly what we're going to do with this 3-year package of funding. And in some cases we'll have to talk to communities, so we're never going to have time to do that in March, so that's where we are now. We did try and preemptively tender some stuff and the prices came back relatively high, partly because there was so much uncertainty around funding. So we're going to have to do that exercise again. Next slide please. Sorry, next slide. Okay, so on top of the bus funding we have, which is roughly £3 million per annum, that does not all go on bus services. That's to cover everything such as fares and various other things in the background. We also have some Section 106 funding from developments. So we've preserved that funding for a few years to make sure we had money, because we always knew the funding would start to wind down. So we have additional money on top of that to invest in very targeted areas. So we're able to do more on top of what we could have done. Talking about recovery of the network, the X1 service now returns to a full commercial footing, so we're not funding it in any way. That's one one of the busiest services in the region. So that is now not needing £800,000 per annum in subsidy, which is helpful. The other services we fund as well are generally getting closer to commerciality, so that funding we're putting in is reducing, which starts to open up avenues to look at other things. Westlink, the much maligned service, so there's various changes going on there. I think I've got a slide on it later, I'll come back to it. We are reducing our staffing in the background as well to help come in on budget, so it's not all as you would think. And we are also working on a plan with First Bus to address some of the reliability issues that have cropped up more recently too. Going back to what I was saying about why we need less funding potentially, just to point out that our overall patronage has actually still grown this year. It's slowing right down because prices have normalised and people have come back to bus that are inclined to, but we've still had growth for the last 12 months, which is actually bucking the national trend. We've done relatively well with patronage and people using buses, but the growth is definitely slowing right down now. And but we are seeing growth in old age travel, concessionary travel. We're seeing growth in young people, but we're seeing less students travel across the region, partly because less are going and because also they've built more halls of residence and things. Just a reminder of what we actually put money into. So there's commercial services, there's enhanced commercial services and supported services. So we obviously don't fund commercial services there, it's on their own 2 feet. The enhanced commercial services we put a lot of money into over the last 3-4 years to get them back to a place where they're commercial, and we put a lot of money in supported services. The emphasis going forward will be more on supported services though. So this is an overview of what we're going to do with the network to keep us on budget. This is the north of the district. Portishead is... Oh, sorry, the slide's moving on. Sorry, apology. Keep moving forward. That's it. Sorry. I'll shut this so I don't look at this. Okay. Yeah, so this is an overview of what we're going to do with our key corridors for April onwards. So the X4, no change, is staying at 20 minutes. That does involve a reasonable subsidy at this stage, because the X4 at 20 minutes isn't commercial, so we're having to top that up. It would be commercial at 30 minutes, but we've argued it would be detrimental to residents in Portishead to have a 30-minute service, because if one doesn't turn up, you've got to wait an hour. So we've argued successfully that leave it at 20 minutes. It's still growing by about 4% patronage at the moment, year on year, so we're not a million miles away from that being on its own feet at 20 minutes. The next change is fairly significant, which is Clevedon. And Backwell, the X7 is being withdrawn. It doesn't generally affect people in Portishead, but the X7 was competing with the X9 and the X6. There was a lot of crossover and duplication, and they were effectively competing for the same passengers. The growth had stopped. The X6 going to every 30 minutes had really grown a lot, so we've had to get rid of one of them to make the books balance. So the X7 will end. The X9 stays as it is, and as I said, the X1 stays as it is at 20 minutes. Next slide, please. The fairly interesting development for Portishead and now Clevedon is the new A2, which you probably have seen in the media. So there's been actually a lot of requests from members of the public to have a service that goes to the airport. We did quite a bit of research in the background with the airport on who was most likely to use this service, because we weren't sure we could serve both Clevedon and Portishead. And the highest propensity of travel was going to be from Portishead, so the route was intended to be a bit more direct via, is it Clapton in Gordano, I think? Yeah. But unfortunately, when we tried the route, we just couldn't quite get the bus through reliably. We did have to improve some of the route, basically, to do that. So I think as a benefit, it actually now goes via Clevedon, and this will be 24 hours a day on the hour, this service. The fare to go to the airport is £7, but there is local fares for local stages. Sound a bit Royston Basic on the fast show, sorry. But You can get a local fare anywhere on that route apart from the last hop into and out of the airport. So if you do go to the airport, it does attract a premium fare. But compared to parking, it's pretty reasonable. And I think there is a group ticket as well. So that actually does give you an hourly 24/7 bus link to Clevedon and to Nailsea and Backwell. So in part it does pick off some of what the X7 did as well. Sorry, hand up.
Does it go to Nailsea Backwell Station?
Yes. So it will be single deck because of the bridge height. Sorry, yeah, getting a bit of feedback here.
Might just be me breathing into the mic, sorry.
So obviously it reinstates the Nailsea Portishead route, which you've not had for many years as well. But obviously it's not the quickest route as it used to be. But it's still pretty good, I'll be honest. Maybe I'm biased. Next slide, please.
So is it literally all the 24 hours?
Yes, it's 24 hours a day.
Looking at it on the
I think there might be one trip that's slightly less or something
on the
around.
it looks as if it's only running from 2 o'clock until 2 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night.
No, it's 24 hours.
But it didn't. I couldn't see that.
Okay, there's obviously a problem with the publication of the timetable, but it is 24 hours.
Right.
Where do you pick it up?
Any bus stop along the route will publish that. It's not limited stop at this time. Yeah, I believe it starts in Sainsbury's.
That's what the timetable says.
Yeah.
What's the situation regarding?
Well,
Can I take questions at the end?
Yes.
Sorry, just so we can get the mic round. Sorry, I did say I'd do that, so I'm going to stick to it. The rest of the services probably don't affect you, but I'll rattle through them. We're changing the X11 and the X18. We're merging them together to make effectively a more direct route with higher frequency. And we're also going to provide an X11X, which is a quicker morning college journey, and the X5 will have a quicker morning college journey, so it won't go around Clevedon, the X5 in the morning, it will go straight out to the motorway. But because there's an X11X, an X11 covering different bits of those routes, there will effectively be 3 college journeys from the north that are more direct and quicker. Because many of our students for many years have said, can we have a quicker journey to Weston? So we've now found a way to work that in. Next Saturday, X5 reduces to every 2 hours. We've had very low patronage on Saturdays. We just can't sustain 3 buses on a Saturday running that service, which is why it's gone down to 2 hourly. I'd argue if you are going to Weston though, you'd probably spend a few hours there anyway. The night service stays, that's doing pretty well. Some comments they'd like a more direct one, but we can't do everything. But it's proving popular with those that like to go out in the town in the evening.
Can you get the notation right on all your displays?
Questions at the end, but yes, thank you, Ray. Next. This is about the X7 withdrawal. Do I need to go through this for residents here? Okay. Next, please. Keep going. And that just gives you a full overview of all the services in the north of the district, so what will be available. Everyone okay with that? Should we move on? And then these are the changes in Weston, which I'm happy to go into, but if you don't want me to, we can pass on those. Next.
We've got 25 minutes.
Next. Should be slightly Westlink. I did want to talk about that for a minute, and I think we're near the end. So Westlink was a 3-year trial. It's been well documented in these meetings that it's definitely not ticked all the right boxes. The trial is ending, however, there is a place for some of this to stay, the Westlink. Residents here have told me they do rely on it to get around particular parts of the marina, other parts of Portishead. They also want it to be more reliable. So on that basis, the current contractor for Westlink have not been successful in renewing, and we've decided actually we're not going to contract Westlink anymore. We're going to run it ourselves as a council.
because it doesn't at the moment.
I'll check on that. I don't believe we'll be running Saturdays, and we will be cutting the service to in between school hours, but we will run in all year, so we won't stop in school holidays, but we're going to run between the hours of 9 and 2.
So we're postponing Saturday and Sunday.
I can't give you a solution for everything, I'm afraid. There just isn't enough money. The current service costs about nearly £1 million per annum to run in the district, so we are having to reduce the amount we spend on Westlink down to around 350,000 per annum. So we're able to sustain this rather than cancel it. But
so if we wanted to get the bus in the High Street,
Can we have questions at the end, please?
yeah, sorry. So we're also going to change the zones, which we hope is a bit more beneficial. We can skip to that slide, please. Yeah. So we've taken the feedback that the very small town zones weren't that popular. So we've expanded it to 3 sort of northern-ish zones. But you'll notice to you of more interest is what we call the Clevedon Portishead zone. So it covers that what I call northern arc, where there is a real disparity in services on certain roads and areas. So that's your new Westlink zoning. And it is designed to get you effectively into the places you want to go, such as towns. Next slide, please. This is just a summary of all the changes. Next slide, please. These are the fares packages we will still cover. So care leavers will carry on getting 24/7 free travel. Disabled travel 24/7 carries on, and the CAT regional ticket stays at £7 all day, unlimited travel. So that's the most you should pay for a ticket, and you can buy that on Westlink. So if you buy a Westlink ticket, you can use the ticket to go on any bus anywhere. Next, please. I think that's it, so I'm open to questions now.
so this
Right, hang on. Whilst I'm coming to Bob, just on the fare stages you mentioned on the A2, will that take you up effectively to the A38 at Lolsgate before you have to then pay your surcharge to get into the airport?
So it's effectively up to the last stop before the airport, or the first stop out of the airport beyond his local fares. So you could, in theory, get off at the last stop and walk into the airport. Some people do.
I'll try and cover all my questions in one
Thank
go.
you. Go
So one, A2, obviously it's a 50-minute run to the airport and back. Do we know the stand time and how many buses will that incorporate?
There's 2 buses running the service
So,
to keep it hourly.
All my concerns is obviously you've got a stand time, so in other words, when the bus gets to the airport, you've got, I don't know, 30 people, 40 people getting off with suitcases, then a queue of people trying to get back onto the bus to take them back.
I don't think
That
it's
could
going to
be
be that
more
many.
than,
But
that could be more than 10 minutes, which
Mhm.
then could disrupt the schedule. That's one of my concerns.
It's a new service. We've got
Yeah,
to give it
yeah,
a fair
and that's
shot.
what I said. I'm sure it will iron itself out. With Westlink, it's really good that you're taking over. Obviously, you know me and all the board of bus. We're trying to get a local service, and obviously with the new airport bus, it's going to run virtually the same route as everybody else. So we are still around 60% of the public unable to get a bus unless they walk up to 30 minutes. Even us in North Western, it's still a 20-minute walk to get a bus to Bristol. Obviously, I'm able, there's a lot of people that are unable to, and maybe the hindsight, is that the word, that you've obviously taken over Westlink and doing in-house, that may give you a better idea of the demand for a local service.
It's no accident that the Northern Arc yellow zone looks like it follows a bus route.
Yeah.
We have genuinely looked at whether we can do something instead of DRT. There is a solid plan to do something, but there isn't time right now. So one of the things we're looking at for September is whether we look at what I call like a Northern Arc service that covers some areas of Portishead, Clevedon that no longer are served. Because the X7 has removed Walton Park from Clevedon from a bus service. So we do have a couple of options. We just can't pull the trigger right now because of everything that's
Yeah,
happening.
I
But
can-
that is planned.
Yeah, I can understand it. Obviously, we're all waiting for the train,
Yeah.
and I think even you, Carl, will probably feel that that's the time or near that time that we need a local service running around, because if you've got the airport and the train, you're going to need to get those passengers on those buses and trains.
Yeah, it's something we've noted from this community and others. So there is a couple of options in the wings now that we're looking at, and as soon as we can talk to you about it, we will.
Yeah,
We just ran out of time this time.
Thanks, Carl. Thanks for your time.
So on a Saturday, if we wanted
Just want
to,
to wait for the mic, sorry.
on a Saturday, if we wanted to go to Nelson, Clevedon or elsewhere, we can only get it from the high street.
You would have to get on a local service, yeah. Sorry, what do you mean? Westlink or a bus?
With the A2 and the X5, could one of those not possibly run down Brampton out the other end and continue its journey instead of following each other along the high street?
Sid from our team's on the call. Sid, can you just...
We have to use the mic in here because otherwise they won't hear us online.
Oh, right, okay.
Sid, can you hop online for me, if you like? I know we did look at the routing to see if we could do that. Just don't, with the last minute change, I'm not sure if we were able to accommodate it.
Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we got you, Sid.
I think both the A2 and the X5 at the moment are unfortunately really tight on timings. With the A2, we really hope to, well, the original plan was to have it go by Platinum Gordano, but first told us the buses wouldn't fit that way. So, it's going to be really quite tight getting to the airport, so that there just isn't any scope to do anything with that. And then with the X5, there's already kind of college journeys that are very long. So we don't want to extend those, and also it gets pretty unreliable because it uses the motorway further down. So it really needs all the kind of turnarounds it gets. So I don't think either of those can really have any time added into them at the moment, sorry.
But how much longer would it take? I mean, it's literally cutting out the high street for a certain stretch. And you wouldn't be stopping at every stop.
I mean, if it's 5 minutes each way, then that's, an extra 10 minutes on the journey. And, the A2 definitely doesn't have that. The X5, we could look at it, but probably the service would have to be a bit less frequent. And it's already not that frequent. So, we can look into it, but I think, unfortunately, that both of those are quite tight at the moment.
So, Sid, can you take a note to take that down?
We'll talk to us about it Sunday.
Sid, whilst you're there, as a timetable cruncher, the X5, the X10 and the A2 will all be using the Gordano corridor to get from Portishead to Clevedon. How do they separate in terms of the timings?
That's something that we haven't really had a chance to look at yet. As I say, we weren't expecting the A2 to go to Clevedon. That was really quite a last minute thing. So we haven't been able to look at the timetable in terms of coordinations, but we've got a bit more time to think about it. Going for the sort of September timetable change. So I think that the plan is definitely to have a look at that and see, obviously it's not very efficient if you have two buses running 5 minutes apart. So, we'll definitely see what we can do and maybe, talk to Jason and his team, and then obviously the team at First to see what we can do about that.
Thank you, Sid.
Question?
When I went to the meeting back in November, I put a thing forward that one of the X4s, why can't it come down, I forget the name of the road now, instead of turning left and going the way it does, why doesn't one of them go right?
Through the high street, you mean? And
Through the high street,
down
up round,
And down
up
Bristol
round,
Road.
up round
It's the...
Brampton,
Yeah.
and down to Sainsbury's via the Bristol Road. The
It's
bus stops and everything is in place. An hour would make that end of the town get a service which they don't have at the moment.
We've got nothing down that end of town at all.
That's 1/3 of this town has got no service.
We have asked First Bus for an opinion on that. Ultimately, being a commercial route, it is up to First. First don't want to do it because it brings in a large degree of uncertainty for people getting on the bus as to which end of town they're going to end up and the 20-minute frequency. We wanted to look at a 15-minute service at Portishead where you could split the route 50-50, but it's not something we've been able to progress, and we're not likely to have the money to up the frequency. It'd be a large chunk of money to add 2 buses to the X4. So I don't believe it's something we can actually physically do at this time. I do get the logic, I see the logic in that, and again, we can ask. So, I mean, Sid, if you can take that down as an action, please.
But if we can't get to the high street, we
I
can't
get
go
that.
to fill up your double deckers that are going everywhere else.
I get this. There are choices to be made, and not all of them are easy. I can't give you every answer. We don't have the funding to do everything. I do understand the ask, but there are limits in what we can spend. At the moment, a very large proportion of our funding does go towards the north of the district, especially in Portishead.
Is there any way of using sort of like the West Link to kind of pick up some of these things that people are saying? Because I think there's also an issue with the marina, that area, and I'm not quite sure if they're talking about the same area that doesn't have that kind of bus service there. Whether there's any way of the West Link picking that up?
That was always the intention of Westlink. Is it's supposed to do two things. One is to feed bus services, and the other was to provide local trips that buses just will not do. They will not go around the marina unless you put a clearway through it, and that's never been anything that we could get agreed. And it takes too much time to actually do it.
But now you're taking it over, can you revise or look at?
We could, but the limited hours do make it less useful in that respect. So, commuters are not going to do that. And to be blunt, most commuters voted with their feet, literally. They'd rather walk out the marina to Sainsbury's and get the direct bus that's quicker than sit on a bus for 20 minutes and what they classed as a vomit comet.
But if you can,
Um,
you can walk.
And I accept that point, if you can, which not everybody can.
Thank you for that bit.
I agree with what Tracy was.
I think you have to.
What Tracy was saying. When the 57 used to run around the marina, I would get it to Sainsbury's and then get the bus and do the same the other way. And if there is that possibility of some sort of loop, because I think we can't expect a bus to Bristol to go from every locality in Portishead. But if we had some sort of loop that would join up,
This is what I alluded to about this Northern Arc-esque kind of service that would be able to do that on a higher frequency. So, my team recognise the problem, and we do think we might have an answer, but we need to do some more work on that.
Sorry, Carl.
No, it's current.
There was a question I forgot to ask. So obviously you're saying that the price per ticket to get to the airport is £7.
Correct, yes.
But you haven't. So I checked online. So Bristol is £30 for a family of 4, so 2 adults, 2 children. Western is £20, as I understand.
Is that return or is that one way?
That's one way,
Yeah.
because obviously people are going to go one way to the airport and then
Yeah.
But I understand it. Obviously, the tickets for a month value, isn't it? I think that if you use a return
I've got a meeting next week to go through the fares to launch the contract, so I'm not fully knowledgeable.
So I'm just wondering, I'm sure you probably don't know, but obviously if there is a family of 4 group ticket or a student ticket, can we have that notified to the public as soon as possible?
Yes.
Because I think that's one of the questions that a lot of people ask, is how much the ticket's going to be.
Yeah, I've asked to have a mobilisation meeting about the contract, because it is actually a council contract, not an airport contract, for the thing, unusually for the airport. It is fully airport funded, though, I will say. We're going to have a mobilisation meeting. We will then do some publicity on the service, including the fares.
Yeah,
and I've asked for a fare chart to be put in the bus as well, because there has been some ambiguity with drivers about fares in the past for some of these services. So I have asked for a very clear fare chart to be put in the bus, so there's no arguing with the driver or vice versa.
I understand the average taxi fare from Portishead to the airport is about £50. Who else?
We have tried to explore whether there's any convenient parking locations near the bus stops as well that we could formalise, because we recognise people might drive near a bus stop and park and get on the bus. So, but I can't stop that. It's public highway. But
I think that's one of the problems. So if you've got people that are going to have suitcases in their car to the bus stop at the precinct, they're likely to park in Iceland's for a while until that bus is gone, because they may not think it's reliable, and then that holds up the car park with other people trying to park there.
Not that I'd encourage it, but if you've got a friend that can drop you off at the bus stop, it makes it really convenient. And we are seeing that happen actually. We're seeing people get dropped off at a bus stop and then get the bus. It happens more in Weston with the A3.
Two things regarding the A2. Is it, so you're including it in the sort of the A1, A2, A3, A4 group?
How do you mean?
Well, promoting it.
The airport will, obviously, paying for the service. So this originates from the Surface Access Strategy consultation they did last year. That's not my fault, sorry. And many residents said, look, this is really harsh that Bristol gets a nice cheap bus and the rest of the residents in North Somerset don't. So
are you, one critical question, does it come under the same category as A1 and A3?
As in, is it an amenity service? Yes.
And what's the situation regarding concessionary fares?
Because it's an amenity service only in and out of the airport to those stops. The rest of the time it's a normal bus service taking normal fares and concessions. You can't use a concession though for your travel into the airport.
So if you wanted to go from Portishead High Street to Nailsea, you could use
normal bus.
Only because that's what people have said, that you can't use it on.
Yes, you can.
You can't use it. Can you use it locally on the A1?
No, you can't on the others. But it's different to the others. So one of the discussions I will have with the airport is, can we normalise the fare structure across all the services, because it is confusing.
Yeah, somebody asked me this and said that. And the other one was, had you considered into consideration the situation with people getting on and off buses after dark, or off 11 o'clock bus, or the stops along the route?
How do you mean? You're allowed to? It's a bus.
Well, yes, but access and being able to see what you're doing and things like that.
I mean, most of our bus stops, not all, I know there are some that are relatively dark in the countryside, but I can't fix every problem. We have been asked to put some solar lights on some of the rural stops, and we're looking into that.
That's what I was.
I think there's a couple on Sheepway we're looking at the moment.
That's what I was alluding to. Yes, Sheepway, because especially the one at Conference Close.
While it's dark, it's not that dark.
Especially Conference Close,
Yeah.
which is because of First's opposition to operating via Bristol Road, as the gentleman was speaking. Conference Close is the main stop for the whole of the area.
Yeah, and there are we've rolled out now 150 new bus stops across the district at quite a pace, and we actually are now looking at doing another 50. So if there are any particular stops along the A2, my team is sort of looking at where we put the next 50 stops. If there are a couple of problem ones where darkness is an issue, then we're happy to look at that as that programme.
Certainly the one at Castlewood's going to be quite important, isn't it?
It is, yeah. We thought it'd be less important closing it, but now it's going to become quite relevant, I think, yeah.
And will the bus itself have provision for people's luggage and so on and so forth?
I haven't seen the exact spec, but my assumption is it will have a couple of luggage racks, yes. So it's a multi-services. I'd be honest, I don't think it's going to be massively busy, is my hunch. I don't think overcrowding is going to be a problem. But then a lot of the people using an airport bus tend to get on it very early in the morning, so it tends to be sort of 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Because a lot of the outbound flights from Bristol, obviously first thing in the morning. So we're expecting to see, it'll be interesting to see what it does, to be honest.
There was an A2 years ago.
There was, but it didn't go to here. It went to Winscombe and other areas, and so
Portishead, went from Portishead.
I don't remember that one, before my time, sorry. Next question.
It's about Nailsea Backfill Station, the car park.
Yes.
When I got on the train some weeks ago to go away for the weekend, I found to my horror that there was now a limit of 48-hour parking in Nailsea Backfill Station, and the reason I was given when I did phone the council up about it is because people were parking there for the airport and and then getting taxis from Nelson Backwell station to the airport and leaving their cars there for a week or 2 weeks.
It's actually slightly more sinister than that.
And also illegal parking of people
Yes.
taking cars off people and then parking them in Nelson Backwell.
We found there were some rogue car parking companies that were literally using our car
Yeah.
parks.
I mean, I can see why they therefore brought in the 48-hour limit,
We are
but
looking
it is too short, honestly.
We-
If you're getting on a train Saturday morning and you're
Yeah.
not coming back till Monday morning, you will not be back before the time you got on the train on Saturday. And so it needs to be at least 3 days, I'm sorry. And most people don't go to the airport and go away for 3 days. But I really do think you've got to look at that. And when this A2 is therefore stopping at Nelson Backwell station, you could have people driving from all sorts of places, leaving their car at Nelson Backwell station and getting on the airport bus. So I think you've got to integrate the problems
We
because
do.
train travel needs parking as well.
Yeah, we do recognise as a problem. It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? People want the service, so they don't have to go and park or get a taxi. But then there is now the opportunity to park locally and walk and get on the bus. Not really sure which problem I can fix. But we have actually discussed this internally with the car parking team, and we are actually trying to work out if the obvious one would have been Castlewood, but we are going to close that and build on it. But we did think, well, could we have a park there for like 10 quid for a week sort of thing, and you could get on there. We are genuinely looking at the pricing structure though to enable longer parking and get on the bus. So it's an issue we're aware of, but there are many variants. I don't know the right answer.
Are there any plans to have a bus interchange at the new railway station?
Yes, there is.
Thank you.
It's been provisioned actually. It won't go into the actual forecourt directly of the new train station. The last plan I saw, the stops are sort of, I think on a bridge or a crossing point, and then there's a short walk into the station from the bus stops. Because they're sort of going, why are we not stopping right outside? But actually it's better they stop to the edge of the station so they can carry on their route quickly.
Carol, I was a little bit confused with the lady's question when you were saying about 48 hours at Nelson Backwell.
Yeah.
So, Yatton, you have to pay for parking at Yatton. Oh, you are paid.
Yeah, it's paid at both.
Oh,
but
it's paid, but it's still limited.
We basically, a road parking gang filled the car park and then paid the fee, but because it was really cheap car parking, unlimited, they literally filled it with people's cars. So we've used a sort of sledgehammer to crack a nut, I guess.
On the note of bus stops, presume that the Portishead hubs are still in the pipeline.
Yes, there's going to be, my colleague isn't ready today to go through all the comms on it, so there'll be something next week about the new hub, new shelters going into Portishead.
No, I haven't heard. Northwestern bus stop?
The Northwestern bus stop, the woman raised it a couple of times at the Northwestern meeting with you. No?
In what respect? I mean, there's a shelter on the inbound route, isn't there?
I think it was.
There's nothing on the outbound.
Yeah, I think that was it.
So maybe one of your new bus shelters that you're offering to go into Northwestern.
Yeah.
Ah, the one on Blackrock, opposite Blackrock, yes.
If someone tells me exactly which one, I can definitely put it in the programme.
I'll contact you and tell you which one it is. Come on, any further questions? Here's your opportunity.
2 minutes and I've got to run.
Where's the hub in
The hubs, 2 on Harbour Road, opposite Waitrose in that Parish Wharf. Precinct, but the precinct one comes with changes in the High Street, which we won't go into now.
They're not directly linked, I don't believe.
Maybe not.
I'll be quiet, yeah.
And I'm assuming that when they finish Pill, then they'll perhaps come over here.
Yes, if anyone wants to know what it'll look like, Pill is the example. We're also developing the Whirl one at the moment as well. That's having a complete rework. And the new shelters are really nice, I have to say. I think they are a proper upgrade. A lot of heartache went into designing those.
Carl, slightly off point, but
brief.
We have a bus shuttle on Newfoundland Way. Obviously, you know we're now using the old bus shuttles and some of the new ones to promote the community work in the town. Is there any chance that someone could repair the Newfoundland Way one?
Yeah.
It's just one bus stop, but as a group we can't financially replace all the perspex that needs replacing.
If you let us know, I don't see any reason why not.
Thank you.
Jason, any
It might be it's being
last minute
replaced.
questions or comments?
Just to add to that, it might be that it's getting replaced, which is why we haven't done it.
No, that's the one that goes on to the marina.
Okay, I'll have a good look
So
at that.
although it's no longer used, it's in a poor state and it's a health hazard, but if you could repair it, we could then use it.
Oh, I might remove it.
You can if you like.
Might have to, it's never going to be used. We can have a look at it, yes.
Put a loop in.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a look, because genuinely, there might be an option of a bus service in there.
Yeah, Jason, do you want to make any last minute comments?
No, all good here, thank you.
Right.
Sorry, but I will have to depart.
Well, very lovely to have Carl here in person. Thank you very much for attending.
No, my pleasure.
Rush home. Okay, well, thanks everyone for coming along this afternoon. The next meeting we'll have here, Bus Forum, will be in May. Correct? May 27th, I believe. Yes, we have a tentative one on the 7th. So I hope to see you all then. But, in view of the fact that people wanted to have an evening one, we're sort of starting at 6:30, I think.